By the end of this video, you're going to know the difference between pain and suffering. And I'm going to help you with ways in which you can reduce your suffering a lot. One of my favourite quotes, I think Ken Wilber, I don't know if he's originally said it, but I heard on one of his videos, he said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the difference and how I can help you reduce the suffering. First of all, why am I a good candidate to help you with the suffering? Well, I know what it feels like to feel things deeply. And when we're hurt, especially emotionally is the most painful thing we're going to be hurt by, I think. I've broke my neck. You know, I've lied in a hospital bed for 6 months. They put a trachea in me. I could not speak. I was in all kinds of pain, and I suffer in all kinds of pain today through being paralysed. But none of that comes anywhere close to how you feel emotionally. Emotional pain is horrible. It really is the worst kind of pain anybody can go through. And I can remember when I split up when I was just 17 years old with my partner at the time. They would have loved my life. I was going to spend the whole rest of my life with them. That was what you call, I think, puppy love, isn't it? But that was it. They were perfect. They were everything to me. Well, we split up. And I can remember one Saturday afternoon, sat outside of the cathedral, bawling my eyes out. Bear in mind, I was 17 years old. This is a cathedral in a bit of a middle of a busy town. And I was bawling my eyes out, crying. I didn't care who see me. It was a warm day as well. I remember that. And that pain was so bad. And I can remember saying at the tea table that evening that you can break every bone in my body, but nothing will come anywhere close to the pain I'm feeling right now. So one of the pitfalls of loving so much is that it comes with pain sometimes. Then if you're one of the lucky ones and you end up falling in love and going the rest of your life, and nothing ever happens to you in the way that creates this deep feeling of pain, this longing, well, I want to say congratulations, but not really, because you would never experience the deeper. Because the more pain we feel sometimes, the deeper and the more love we're able to give. But that's pain, and that's a different video. That's a different video for a different day. I want to talk about suffering. Now, the Buddha says to be alive is to dukkha, which has been loosely translated to suffering. We suffer because we want life to be different from what it is. That's the definition of suffering. So we become attached to how things should be. And very often how things are is not how we want them to be. And I'll give you a couple of examples. One example recently was I used to have a brain training, like goes around your head and it measures your brain waves. And I used to sit in meditation. I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't quite connect it ever. But they brought out a new one, Muse 2 it's called. Well, I got hold of them and said, is the connections any better? And they sent me one. And I was really excited. I've been looking on the website for a long, long time about this headset. And it done extra things. It monitors your breathing and your heart and all the other things. So excited about it. And they said, look, we'll send you one. Just trial it and see whether it connects on your head a little bit better. I don't know whether I got a big head or something like that. I don't know. But I said to them, while I was waiting for it to arrive, I looked on the website and all that, and I thought I'd read up on it even more. And I noticed they got a new one coming out. And I was like, oh. And now, suddenly, I've been excited about the other one for how long? Now they got a new one, I don't want the other one. Well, of course I do want the other one. And it makes me feel really ungrateful. But the thing is, whenever we long for something and we want something for a very long time, and then we get it, and then something new comes along and then we want that, it's that constant wanting more. Now then, okay, like one of my carers pointed out to me last night, well, she's got a car, she's perfectly happy with it, she doesn't always want a new car. But there's always something we want. There's always something we're we're longing for. Now, whether it might not be items, it might not be a car or a new headband for thing. It might be that we're wanting a connection or be understood more or to be loved more. You know, if you're hungry, you're longing for food. If you're cold, you're longing for a blanket or warming up. If you're tired, you're longing for sleep. If we're in pain, we long for quietness and we long for that relief of the pain. If we're angry, we long for maybe revenge or karma to kick in or things like that, or we want our anger to dissipate. And we might be fearful of something and we long for that fear to disappear and perhaps to grow that courage. So whatever we're going through, even on the spiritual journey, the longing is there. I want to be more spiritual. I want to be more loving. I want to be more enlightened. I want to be wiser. You know? So even the spiritual journey, I want to get there. I want to be calmer. I want a better meditation. I want the perfect meditation. You know, so even on the spiritual journey, when we're learning to accept things the way they are, when we're learning to let go of attachments and all, when we're learning to open our hearts, there's still that longing and suffering. So the main difference between pain and suffering is pain happens. To have a heart, to be human, is to feel something. All feelings, whether they're the good feelings or bad feelings or just feelings, they're part of being human, right? That is it. That's what part of being human is. You don't want to just have 2 or 3 feelings and get to the end of your life and you get to the pearly gates and Sir Peter looks up and says, do you know what? There was another 120 feelings that you never experienced. You don't want to do that. We want to experience all these things. So you cannot have the highs without the lows. But I started this video by saying I was going to explain the difference in the suffering and the pain. And I hope by now you understand what I mean by you're going to feel pain anyway. To have a loving heart, to open your heart. You know, Mother Teresa said, love is a wound that never heals. What she means by that is you open this wound up and you're vulnerable. When you truly love someone, you're vulnerable to being hurt. When you give your life or when you give your time to someone, you're risking that they'll abuse it. That's what love is giving that vulnerability up. You know, allowing them to maybe misuse it. Then if they do, say goodbye, move on. But you're still risking it. That's what loving is risking it. You're putting yourself out there. And we very often don't want to do that. So the pain is inevitable. But how do we stop the suffering? Well, we stop repeating it and longing in it. Now then, recognize your longing. Sit down in meditation and go, what do I want right now? And whether it's chocolate, whether it's more love and more connection, or whether it's... I noticed how quickly I just went over chocolate. I got a whole heap of chocolate given to me for Christmas that I need to eat, or I feel like I need to eat. I cannot find enough people to give it away. So comment below if you want me to send you any chocolate. I'll get back to you. I'll get your address and I'll send you loads and loads of chocolate. But whether it's longing for chocolate or longing for more freedom, more money, clear bills, more love, more connection, sit down in that longing and recognize it. Because all it is you wanting life to be different than what it is. You're wanting this moment to be different, to be more of what you think will make you happy. I've got some bad news for you, again, that if you're not happy in this moment, you won't be happy in the next. Just by wanting to be happy, you're unhappy. You cannot want something and have something. Just like when you're suffering, wanting to not suffer means you're suffering. Can you see where I'm going with this now? It's that it seems like a very subtle change in mindset, a very subtle way that we live with intention. So if you live with intention of, I'm already happy, it changes your whole posture, it changes your shoulders, it changes your body and your mind. Your mind follows. And one of the magic things in all this is gratitude. Gratitude doesn't mean I have everything I ever want and I'm going to settle for this and I'm going to be happy. Gratitude is about being happy with what we have and accepting life the way it is while still working with intention to improve it. You know, my body is not perfect the way it is. You know, I could losing a few pounds here on my belly. I could do with exercising, building my muscles up a little bit more like I was a couple of years ago. But me not liking or not wanting my body to be this way means I'm going to suffer. If I accept my body this way, while then knowing what I need to do to improve it tomorrow, and then again accept it tomorrow for what it is, and then again and again. Acceptance is not saying everything is perfect. This is the misunderstanding. These people that come out and go, well, everything is perfect the way it is. Don't BS me. Really? You think the world's perfect the way it is? No, it's not. It's far from it. If it was perfect, you wouldn't have children going hungry. You wouldn't have some of the politicians lying their butts off and things like that. No, I'm sorry, the world is not perfect. But what we can do is accept the fact that we cannot change this present moment. This is what letting go and letting it be is about. You accept this present moment for what it is because you cannot do anything about it. You cannot change this present moment. It's already here. It's already happened. But what we can do is work with intention to change the next and work on the next things. So if you want to be happy and you want to suffer less, accept the present moment for what it is. Sit in the present moment and find the good in it. Don't always focus on the bad. Find the wonderful things in this moment. And there is loads wonderful about every given moment. Take a deep breath and look around. Feel what you've currently got. You know, and that's gratitude. Accepting this present moment. Enjoying what we do have. Living with that gratitude of, you know, I am enough. What I have is enough. And that's how we suffer less. That's how we reduce the longing. We reduce the attachment. Notice I say reduce, I don't say get rid of it all, because I don't think it's that simple. It really isn't. And we've got to remember to do this again and again and again and again. And keep returning to this mindset. It's a subtle change that will have huge impact on your life. So I want to leave you with a practical way of doing this. Wake up in the morning and think of 3 things that you're really grateful you have in your life. Then I don't do this the usual way. The usual way is then appreciate them and like really feel them in your body and all that. Well, I say do this. Take your quilt, for example, or your pillow. Imagine what your life is like with it. And then imagine what your life is like without it. Wake up tomorrow morning, you've got no quilt or no pillow. Or perhaps you haven't got no curtains or any hot water. Imagine what your life tomorrow is going to be like without it. And then imagine again what it's like having it today. And go between the two for a few times. Perhaps you think of family. Imagine what it's like having family. Imagine what it's like living away from family. And then bring them back into your life. Because we never really truly have anything until we lose something. You know, the hero's journey has to go away and lose something before he returns or she returns with whatever they gain. And they always gain what they already had. Do you notice that? Everybody around them saying, you already got that. And they're going, no, I need to leave it. So that's a practical way in the morning. Just lie in bed or sit up and sit on the edge of the bed. Think of 3 things, big, small, it doesn't matter. And imagine what your life is like with it, without it, with it, without it, and then with it again. And leave the feeling of with it for the rest of the day. Your life will suddenly turn around and you will have a lot less suffering. Really will. So if I help you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build up to 1,000 subscribers. That's my aim in the next couple of months. So if you can help me with that, if you can share this video and get all your friends to come in and comment and like and subscribe. But most of all, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. I helped you to have a little more in life. Take care. There's a new video every Friday. Thank you. Namaste.